Hey, well-read baddies. Welcome to another episode of She Well Read. I'm Alana.
I'm Samra.
And everything's trash.
Still.
Still. I don't know why. It's like the universe. I saw somewhere the other day, it was like everything's in retrograde, so that's why.
Something's going on, and I do think it's retrograde. I don't know what else is going on. Something's happening.
Like,
because it has been a lot.
It has been a lot. So we're back again. Hopefully we're gonna this is it. Like after this, it's gonna be we in here.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be any more just
No
audio.
more
No more hiccups. Knock on wood. So today, okay, first few topics for coffee break. But before we get to coffee break, shout out corner. Follow us everywhere at She Well Read. Watch us on YouTube at She Well Read.
Yes.
Super excited about that. Subscribe to our YouTube, t-shirts, partnerships, bookshops. You know the drill. Also, scary stories. We're still taking scary stories at shewellread@gmail.com. So send those in and let's get into the coffee break. Y'all, I'm still getting me and this mouse. We are going to have... Ooh.
Is it coming along?
It's coming slowly, but she's coming. She's scrolling.
Period.
Okay, so first I wanted to talk about the Emmys and the absolute black girl magic that we saw.
Love to see it.
Which, speaking of Abbott Elementary, starts today.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the new season. Like last season, I was weak every episode.
I like it. I feel like we talked about this a little bit, but I feel like I wasn't like laughing out loud until like a few episodes in.
The usual.
Right. But now that they've kind of set up the whole scenario and we can get some more character development, I'm very excited.
Yeah, we're getting 22 episodes.
Period. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so
we got a full season order, babe.
Those 30-minute shows just go
They go so fast,
So
yeah.
I need 22.
Yeah, we need 22 of those 30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But like Cheryl Lee Ralph, Quinta Wynn, like it was all just so iconic.
It
was
was
a night for black women. Lizzo, she's halfway to an EGOT now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wait, what did she win for?
She got it for Justin's Amazon Prime show, which I've been meaning to watch.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, because I saw it on TikTok at first.
The big girl.
The big girl.
The dance.
Her backup dancer.
I've got to watch that.
Same.
Amazon Prime, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will be looking into that.
Yeah. And I just love the fact that Issa Rae, she got interviewed again. I think it was Laverne Cox who did her interview. And she was like, who are you rooting for tonight? You know, you have that famous thing the last time you were at Emmys, you're rooting for everybody black. And she said, and I'm still rooting for everybody black.
I love Issa.
I know.
She's
us
cool.
working with Issa Rae.
Issa.
Listen. Let's make it happen.
She's so busy with like rap shit and
have you watched rap shit?
Other projects. Yes.
Isn't it so good?
I like binged the whole thing in one night.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You're not even a bingey girl.
It was really my boyfriend. It was like, we have to watch another one. And another one.
It was another one of those 30-minute ones too, though.
It was.
So it was easy.
It was like a very like it was honestly like 4 hours.
Yeah, I was about to say. Because there's only like 8 episodes. To back. It's only like 8 episodes.
I was sad, but you know, I guess like that's how it goes. It's like they set it up.
Yeah.
We were like, this is like City Girls.
No. Yeah, they had a hand in it, I think, in the production.
Yeah, JT's a producer, I think.
Is she? I forgot to like confirm this, but you might be right.
It was one of them I saw in the credits.
Oh,
which I was like, okay, cool. Because I was like, she kind of just like...
Right, you're like watching it and you're like, wait, this Miami? JT?
Scamming and everything. I was like, this is very much... It's a dude.
It's game. It's game. If y'all haven't listened to that yet, you've got to go check it out on wherever you listen to music. That song is so... catchy and good.
Yeah, bar.
So we love to see it. Next I wanted to talk about, because I realized I hadn't mentioned it on the show at least, that I got accepted into the TikTok Small Black Business Creator Program.
Yeah. Yes, Lana. I mean, you are a TikTok queen.
I try.
She has been all on top of it, like from from the beginning to now, and I'm just now kind of like, okay, yeah, I've got ideas too.
I know. I thought I was like, oh, this helps. This is great.
Yeah, it's not like 3 ideas, but everything else is like straight from her mind.
You know,
There's a lot going on in there.
listen, I live on TikTok, so I might as well make it work for us.
I mean, I have no complaints. That's fine with me. Keep
I'm
going.
sorry.
I encourage it.
But I wanted to say that there are like, we got chosen, our cohort got chosen from like thousands of entries, and there's only about like 350 of us, I think.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, so it's really awesome. And I've been slowly but surely following all of the people that I can find on TikTok in the cohort. So if
Okay.
you go to our TikTok at She Well Read and go to our following, you'll find tons of Black businesses in there that we're following from like
Ooh.
all different types of industries. Like there's snacks, there's,
Okay.
you know, wellness and beauty. So
Do it.
yeah, go check them out and follow us on TikTok at She Will Read.
Yes.
So super excited about that. Okay. Last thing before I get a little deep in here
Oh.
was I wanted to, there's this new, Spotify has really been on it recently. They have
You're
audiobooks now.
You're their biggest fan.
I am they need to sponsor us at this point because I am their biggest fan.
Spotify show produced by Issa Rae.
Yes. I needed a minute to like set into the universe.
She said pause for dramatic
Pause
effect.
for dramatic effect. But yeah, they have audiobooks now that you can get through Spotify and listen on Spotify. It's really making it to where they're like a one-stop shop at this point.
That's a game changer.
Isn't it?
Because I don't listen to audiobooks mostly because it's just not convenient. And I know I just have to download one app.
Mm-hmm.
And like once I set it up, it probably would be super easy. But I don't know why. It's like one of those things I've been meaning to do for probably over a year now.
Yeah.
And I just haven't done it. But if
Yeah.
like recommend it or something.
Yeah, like in what you already, like Spotify, I always use Spotify.
there.
I'm already there, right? So it just makes so much sense. And I think this is a really good business move on their part, personally.
Here for it. I would
it.
like to like give everybody the access to have video on Spotify.
Oh, yeah. I think they're rolling it. I think they're slowly rolling it out because you know, Spotify bought Anchor, so that's why the Anchor people are able to do that, and we're not just yet. But I think they're slowly, like Spotify is really trying to be like everything in one, but they're doing it in a way that makes sense, unlike Instagram trying to be TikTok. Like, you know what I mean?
Shots fired.
Keep Instagram. Like, I feel like that's a movement at this point.
It is.
Okay. But I'm finna get deep with y'all.
Oh God.
Real quick. I haven't even talked to you about this.
Okay. What's going on?
Kinda. Okay, so truth moment. Being very vulnerable right here.
Okay.
But I have been really depressed. I know, trigger warning.
Hold on. You should have told me to like. I'm sitting down, so it's fine. But
yeah.
well, first of all, thank you for your honesty.
Yeah.
I want to say candor because isn't that like honesty and like strength or something? I read those books back in the day. Did you read those books? It was like Divergent, and they had like
I didn't even read it.
You didn't read those? It was like kind of the last of that era.
That area of like sagas.
Yeah. And like the whole anyway. There was not me saying a cohort. But basically it's like little communities or tribes, and they were all based on a certain characteristic that you all had. So one of them was like daring or something like that, and they were just a bunch of like motorcycle riders and skateboarders and like more intense stuff than
like
that
fit
too.
the description.
Yeah, so they were all that, and then there was one that was called Candor, and I think they were just all like about honesty and stuff. So
being open and honest. Okay, Candor. I'm adding it to
courageous too.
Oh,
because I feel that a lot of people deal with depression during this time. I feel like even I have been having a few like moments where I'm like, this is giving depression.
It's giving dark sad girl energy.
It's like I haven't been taking care of myself that well, and I have been going through it. So I feel like whenever I'm stressed, I'm the first thing to like drop off my to-do list, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because everything else, it's like due dates, timelines, da-da-da. But like, there's no one like holding me accountable for like taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say, thank you for sharing it. It makes me feel seen a little bit because
Yeah.
I feel it's kind of weird.
It is weird. It's that, like you said, it's kind of that transition from like summer to fall. And fall is very much a season of, I don't want to call it a season of depression, but it is more likely,
Heavy.
right? Because it's getting darker outside and just like the whole vibe of the season is a little dark and off, and you start to feel those changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been depressed for like a couple weeks now, and I think I'd been fighting the feeling, like being like, no, like this is not the time. Like I don't have time for this.
Not you saying. You like, no. It's like coming up. Wait, we gotta do a TikTok because I'm thinking of our TikTok where I'm sitting on the couch like about to relax. And then
and it creeps up.
I mean, we need to redo that for the fall because I
No,
feel
literally.
like we can relate. It's like,
hello?
It's like, go away.
No, literally. And I had been doing the whole like, no, this is not happening. Like, we're just going to keep pushing forward. But I had really started to see how it was affecting like me and how I was doing things. And when you're, you might not know because I learned this in therapy this week.
Okay.
When you're depressed or you get triggered, there's this part, like the part of your brain where the trigger happens is so big and vast that like, when it happens and when you are triggered, it trickles down into everything else in your life. Like not even that one area of the trigger, like whatever the situation was that made you be triggered.
Yeah.
It affects everything. And so I was trying to figure out, I was like, okay, I'm a little depressed right now, and it's probably about this one thing. But I'm like, but why is it affecting everything else that I'm trying to do? And that's why.
Yeah.
So I had put off therapy for like a week because I was just so busy. And I was like, I did the silly girl thing of being like, therapy's not going to help.
She did not just say that.
She did it. She did it.
That was your own body being your op.
She was. And I literally went to therapy and was like,
I wish I had done
I wish I had come last week.
Damn.
Just because it's that thing that we talk about therapy that it helps so much more than you think it is. Like I thought I would take, a little, like feel a little better and be able to get through the rest of the season. But like I feel like it unlocked so much in me that I was like, wow, I did not realize that's what was happening, because the trigger that I've been going through is one where during that time of that situation, I was feeling a lot of like self-doubt and like I wasn't doing enough, I wasn't worth it, I was like failing basically.
Oh shit.
And so then anything good that's been happening or like one like bad thing that's really not a bad thing, it's like one door closes, another one opens, I can't see it like that, and I'm seeing it as I'm failing.
Oh, yeah, you can't get past that. Gotcha.
And so once I went to therapy and really talked it out with my therapist, like she does that thing, I love it. She's like, so how does it make you feel? And like she already knows the answer.
Oh.
And then she lets me talk it out, and I'm like, I have this aha moment, and she's like, yep. Right there.
She's so good.
She's so good. Shout out to Dr. Griffin.
And she knows your ass.
And she knows me. I've been going to her for almost 3 years now.
And so that's why she's like, let me just let you get there. I feel like you do that to me sometimes.
Yeah. It's like when you know somebody, it's really easy to do that, but it's like you can't do it you to you.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
I know. It's crazy how much of our like subconscious rules everything that we're doing. And like if someone doesn't call me out sometimes, I don't even notice what I'm even doing.
Yeah.
It happens and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah. You just have to take a step back and
That was
really
me?
and really evaluate the situation. And so I feel better now. I do feel like I'm kind of like in that state of recovery almost, where you're like, okay, I was really, really depressed these past few weeks, but like I'm coming out of it.
You can see the light.
I can see the light now.
Okay.
It used to be a little tunnel where I couldn't see the light, but now I can see the light.
That's what I love to see.
Moral of the story is, this is your sign that if you have been putting off going to see your therapist or starting therapy or just any type of therapy of any kind, go. This is your sign to go. And that's all I have to say about that.
Whew.
It was heavy. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. I feel like it's so common that someone's gonna feel this.
Yeah. I hope they feel it in a good way though, to where they're like, damn, like that's me. Like I can see myself right now and
Yeah.
I need to go get some help. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I think September is like Suicide Awareness Month.
I
as
can't remember if
well.
there was like a week or a month.
A week maybe. And maybe it was a week that passed a little bit ago, but
Either way, it's still something
it's
to
real.
always
Like,
call
check
out.
on people that you think are doing fine and are, holding it together as best they can.
The strong friend.
The strong friend. We always isn't just like, don't be hard on people, I guess.
Yeah. You never know what somebody's going through in the background.
You don't.
Okay, well, let's get into the chapter because she was a long one.
Yeah, I was like speed reading trying to finish this.
I know.
I felt pretty good about how quickly I could get done, but it still wasn't short enough.
It was not short at all. So the title of this chapter was Guide to Being a Boss from Someone Who Has Been Building a Mini Empire for the Past 2 years and Counting.
Which she said past 2 years. Well, I guess it's been
But
But overall, like over through her career, it hasn't been just 2 years, guys.
it hasn't.
been
She's downplaying it.
working.
She's down. That's what I thought too when I first read this. So I'm glad you thought it
2
too.
years?
She's been grinding.
She has. And I feel like, honestly, it's really interesting because I'm starting to kind of feel Phoebe a little bit. I've always wanted to be a mom, but I don't know. I'm kind of like in the middle now.
Okay.
I think I still want to be a mom, but like I can also, I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like I don't know, guys. It's a little, I don't know here, but it's just something I've been thinking about.
Okay. Well, keep us posted.
I will.
So we get into this chapter and she starts it off with this story that I was like
I feel like I remember hearing about this.
So there is this 19-year-old. So here's the article title. Arizona man is accused of faking own kidnapping to evade work. Which I feel all of us have had those times where we were like, what can we make up? Right? Like, what can I use to not have to go to work today?
I've never gone this far.
Never this far. And I love how she comments. She's like, white peopling using their privilege. Because, like, there's no, like, I'm thinking like Jesse Smollett situation where still to this day he says he didn't do it and it was real. But, like, still. So, yeah. But she's like, I am you, Brandon, and you are me. She talks about all that comes with being a boss and just all of the pressure.
Yeah.
And all of the things you don't think about before you become a boss.
I've never been a boss.
Me either.
But I hope to be as like thoughtful and ethical about it as Phoebe is, because she's like really trying to be different.
Yeah.
And trying to be something she doesn't see that often, being like true to herself as a Black woman, but also still trying to get the job done correctly and how she wants to get it done when people underestimate her.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that balance. I was like, wow, this is very complicated.
It is more complicated than I even thought about it until I read this chapter. I was like, damn. Like, I didn't think about half of this.
all of that?
All of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good info in this chapter, honestly.
Yeah, like if you're someone who runs your own company or thinking of running your own company one day like this, but like this chapter alone should make you want to buy the book because she lays it out like step by step.
I wouldn't have thought that was even in here because it's just a collection of essays. So I wasn't expecting, but I do feel like she's covering a lot of different topics. So it feels very, very well-rounded.
Yeah, as we're going through. But basically, she's just talking about, all the pressures that comes with being a boss and just the pressure of just work in general. She talked about even so far as celebrities who have almost ruined their own career, like self-sabotage their own career. And it's that thing, I've thought about this before when I see like you know, people who like steal money from their companies or like do like stupid shit. Then I'm like, how did you not think you were gonna get caught?
Yeah, exactly. I've always thought that too. And I'm like, how?
But she's saying like this is why, like, you get to that point where you're just so desperate that you're willing to do anything.
Yeah, I had never thought about it from that perspective of like, wow, I'm really trapped in this like highly successful area and I don't like relate to this at all. And I want to get out, but I'm like locked into a contract or whatever it is that's keeping you there. Like all these people under me are depending on me for their jobs. And
Yeah.
it just gets more and more stressful. So I can see it honestly made me feel seen a little bit because I was
Yeah.
like, so everybody feels this way, even the
Yep.
people at the top.
Even the people at the top, which I feel like it's so, I've said this before, it's so easy to judge these celebrities when they do dumb shit or like do something like, okay, she talks about Charlie Sheen. And when he asked the network, he was like, I want a 50% raise. It's like, bro, what? Like, in what planet did you think that was going to happen? It's just one of those, again, those wild things where you're like, what were you thinking? And it was really almost a cry for help. Like,
Yeah.
he just wasn't in it anymore and he just needed a scapegoat and that was it. Like, who knows if that's a true story, but it could be. And then I really like the quote on page 63 at the top. It says, now I could keep going with examples of people Control-Alt-deleting their lives, but you get the point. It's not all that uncommon that when one is burdened with too much responsibility, whether real or imagined, they might feel trapped and seek ways to free themselves, and often those ways are categorically destructive.
Yeah.
It's like you self-implode on yourself.
Yeah, that I think of like so many, I don't know, child stars that had all this pressure on them. And as a young person,
A
I
young person.
cannot even imagine. You don't even understand like the gravity of everything that is underneath you, powering you, which you're like basically this machine for other people to make money. And it's like
all the dots
connected.
Kind of like that thing. I think Sydney Sweeney did that interview where she was like, I can't take off for 6 months because I have to
pay this
I have to pay this person, I have to pay
person,
this.
this person.
Which, like, in hindsight, no one's out here taking off 6 months of work. But I get what she meant. Like, when you see those people at the top, you're like, oh, you don't even have to work if you don't want to. You could take off for 6 months and be fine. But she's like, no. Like, I have to
Yes.
keep grinding. I have to keep working. And there's this Taraji P. Henson clip that I'll try to find and link where she's talking about, you know, I make this much for this role, meaning I'm out of commission for this many months. Like, I can't take on any new projects. And I still have to pay this percentage to this person, this percentage to this person, this percentage to this person. And then when I'm done with that project, it's not like I can take a break because I just have that money from that one project. So I have to go to the next one. It's just like a constant. And they have to like continuously find work. Like, I do think being an actor and actress and in that profession of Hollywood in general is difficult because it's inconsistent work.
I feel like that's all freelancing though.
Freelancing.
It's
That's
not like
tea.
it's not like they're the only ones dealing with that.
That's true.
And
That's
they're
tea.
like in an industry where I guess salaries are just not what they used to be, but I feel like that's across the board. So when I hear Sydney Sweeney and like all the Sydney Sweeneys of the world talking about like, oh my God, y'all just don't know how much money like a lawyer costs and all this stuff, and I'm like, champagne problem.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Phoebe talks about in this chapter.
Yeah, she does.
Because she's like trying to start an HBO special, right? There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this chapter, but I know what you're talking about.
If I get it all confused.
Yes, the champagne problems. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what page it was, but
I think it's like 67, but I'm not sure.
Oh, sis, I just passed 67 and it ain't on there.
Oh, okay. It was the fact that she was producing a show that she wanted to get picked up.
Yes.
Oh, I think it was Two Dope Queens.
Yeah, Two Dope
potentially.
Queens, the HBO special.
Okay, so it was an HBO special, and then I think someone else reached out to her because she's always creating more content, so she was like trying to get this other show produced, an ABC Family or Freeform, with like we want you to produce the show, but also act in it. And she's like, oh, I don't want to do that. She's
Yeah.
like, I realize that this is like really, it's like something that in this industry, if you're outside of it, you might be like, oh, boo-hoo, like you got a job. But she was like, I know exactly what this entails. And if I am in, oh, I think it was that they created the show and they wanted her to be an actor in their show.
Yeah, but it wasn't hers.
And it wasn't hers, right? And she wanted to have that creative control, so she like held out.
Yeah.
And ended up getting an even better offer during the pandemic. But in the meantime, she was like, I have to say no. And she realized like the fact that she said no to something she in her spirit felt wasn't right for her made it seem like she was playing this hard to get game.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
ultimately worked in her favor.
Yeah, and it's really scary to do. Like,
That's
saying no to like such a great opportunity like that. Like, I can't imagine. Like, I'd probably jump on that. But it's good that she did stick to her guns because, like you said, it's like one door closed and another one open. And I really also liked how she talked. We're kind of, this is like all in the same section. It's kind of, we're going back and forth. But on 65, she talks about kind of that sense of, it's like, oh, I'm late. Like, I want to be lazy. Like, I just want to be on my couch. I just want to be relaxing. Like, I don't want to be doing any of this. But then there's that creativeness that kind of takes over that feeling where it's like, well, what if? And then you start saying, like, I mean, yeah, maybe this seems outrageous at first glance, but is it really? And what if this is actually pretty reasonable? And the only outrageous thing is that it hasn't happened yet. So that kind of creative brain starts spinning and you get all these ideas and then you're like, ah, fuck. But that requires work.
That's it, though. I feel like any creative understands that.
Like when I was reading this, I was like, yup.
That's
like,
pretty much she well read.
Yeah, that is literally she well read.
It's like, it's not crazy. If it works.
Right. Not funny, ha. Funny, smart.
Right. But for it to work, we have to work.
Yeah.
Damn.
You gotta work to work.
No, and like, I just feel like this is just so common in adulthood. Because like I was just saying about the whole, do I want a family?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm just trying to, I have two paths right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I have two paths that I can walk down. And I've been telling Lana, like, I feel like 25 is a new era, a new chapter. But which one road am I going to take? You know what I mean? Does anyone else feel this?
Yeah. Do you feel like this? Because it's hard out here.
It's like,
which way do I go?
What am I going to take? Because they both are valid. And they both lead to, like,
what you would want.
What I would want, but it's like, I don't know what lays. One's more risky, and one's more safe.
It's just it's your risk assessment. That's tea.
I don't know. It's just a lot to think about.
It is a lot to think about. So
too much.
I'm in that same wave. So I totally understand what you're going through. And kind of going back to your point of her, you know, when she was like, I wasn't trying to play hard to get. It just ended up me being too hard to get. And she says playing it cool sometimes just feels more badass than being an emotionally exposed Ernest Ernstein.
I liked that.
I did too.
I relate to being an Ernstein.
Literally. Okay. And so she's just talking about how she started Tiny Reparations, a publication that she owns, and reading and writing and looking at manuscripts and being a boss and having employees and all that just comes with that. I would like to be an intern. I too would like to be an intern.
That doesn't actually have to do any work, but can just like vibe at the office. Are you hiring?
This is not real.
No.
You are the opposite of what I want.
She literally talks about.
I was never gonna get into a situation she had somebody like that.
That's
okay, but I did want to make a point that is on 73. Just like this whole page made me think about this whole thing of, I put it in the notes, companies don't know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to Black audiences. Because she's talking about the story of when she's literally pitching this book to different publications and different publishing houses, and how they're basically saying that, okay, let me find it.
I know,
right? But basically, the moral of the it says Pew Research revealed that the person most likely to read a book is a college-educated Black woman. So what are these publishing execs talking about? Because the publishing exec, sorry, I'm like hyped up about this. She says, when I was shopping around my first book in 2015, every single imprint except for Bloom, the one that she went with, flat out rejected it for the following reasons. Black female authors don't sell, are not relatable, and readers aren't interested in funny stories from Black women.
What a load of BS.
A load of BS. And it just made me think of this whole notion.
Authors. Like, if you don't have Black authors to sell,
how would you know?
Black authors are not going to sell. Because there are so many amazing Black authors throughout history that are still selling books.
Right. Right. And it just made me think of this thing that a lot of companies have been doing, and we've been seeing it a lot post-pandemic with the rise of Black Lives Matter. They're trying to do more diversity hires and hiring more Black people in these different positions that weren't getting hired in them before, which is like, yay.
Yeah.
But then they're not letting them succeed in
Ooh.
our space.
Well, is it our space or is it their space that we're existing in?
You, girl.
I don't know. I feel like tiny reparations is our space. And like,
come on now.
The situations where there's a Black person who is creating more opportunities for people that look like them, and it's coming from the top and trickling down, like, then it's our space. But until we have Black execs that are allowed to make changes and aren't like stuck in a box, because I feel like I've been in situations where I'm like, okay, you're the diversity girl, go diverse. And it's like, I have no tools to diverse right now.
Right.
And now I've done a bad job because I didn't have resources. But the resources were never there to begin with because there was no one overseeing the position from that had the knowledge to adequately like create the position. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just like a here you go. But it's not like a, I don't know,
actually putting in the work.
Yeah.
Because it's like I've heard from people who work for these companies being like, yes, like I'm Black and I'm like Issa Rae rooting for everybody Black. But when I present them to these ideas that us as Black individuals will be like, oh, yeah, that is a terrific idea and will capture our audience, they don't understand.
Right. It's not a good idea.
But it's not for them to understand. That's the whole point that I think they're all overlooking.
Yeah. And it's like, it's like having to explain the joke. And it's
like,
you miss the joke, though. So it's not even funny anymore.
Right.
So...
Oh, sorry.
Tangent.
I just gotta, what is it? I gotta cool it down, heated.
Speaking of Drake. Okay.
That was not Drake, that was Beyonce.
Why the hell did I think that was Drake? I don't know. I know. I'm singing it in my head and it's Beyonce singing it.
I was gonna say, we are not about to get on Beyonce's internet and do her like that. Slander her like that.
Can y'all just tell I wanted to say something about Drake? Because speaking of Drake,
okay,
I don't even want to go into it.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep going because, like we said, this is a really long chapter and we gotta get through it. Okay.
Oh my God.
But that leads us into the whole conversation of the lack of Black leadership in general in like business spaces,
right?
Where there's not like there are books where you can pick up that are about business and leadership that are written by Black people. But the most common ones you hear are like the Dave Ramseys of the world, you know what I mean? Or the Warren Buffetts. And I really like this quote that she says on 79. And she says, anyway, what I'm getting at is Black women have so much to offer as bosses, but because of the constant negative media depiction of us, we are underpaid, disrespected, and discriminated against when we're clearly qualified, and as a result, we are not considered for leadership positions. And outside of Shonda Rhimes, there weren't a whole lot of examples to call on that I could use as a guide in building the kind of career I imagined for myself, which not only saddened me, but fueled me to be the Black lady boss I didn't have in my life. Which this reminds me of Elaine. I feel like Elaine talked about this in her book too, more than enough, where she's like, there's no one that I could look up to that laid this path out for me. Like, I am the path.
Yeah, that's a tough one. First, only different.
FODs. We're going back to FODs, baby. Go back to last season if you don't know what we talking about.
Do your research.
Do your research. But I was like, yes, like when you think of these powerhouse black, like, and it's not to shit on them at all. We love to see it, but we want more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I love that Phoebe built the company that she's building right now because it's so needed.
Yeah, and it's called Tiny Reparations.
Which I was like,
that.
genius. Fucking genius, bro.
From
Because it's
what
like,
I can tell, it gives very similar to Reese Witherspoon's situation that she's got going on. Like, where they
her
read
production
books,
company.
produce like books.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean? But like, you know, women, like from a female director and
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like Phoebe's got like her own version of that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and you just love to see women being amazing. Okay.
True.
And so now we get to the meat of this chapter, which is Phoebe breaking down all of the business and building. She says, running a business and building a mini empire for 2+ years. This is all that she's learned from doing that. Things that she wish she would have known before. Which some of it I'm like, oh yeah, I already knew working in corporate America. But we're gonna go through them really quick because there's 11 of them. So the first one is, for some of your employees, this is just a job.
I was like, period.
Period.
I'm glad you're saying this because, yeah, everyone views a job differently. Some
They
people
do.
want to like clock in, clock out, just check out.
Yeah.
And others are more involved.
Mhm.
And I do think it was very, very like, I don't know if many bosses realize this, but it's like the fact that she said you have to remember that your company is not your employees' dreams.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm helping you build your dream, but that's not as fulfilling as like you building your own dream,
Right.
if that made any sense.
No, it does, because it's that thing of, I feel like when you're hiring, or like when we get to the point where we can hire employees, oh Lord, it'll be a day. But I would go into it knowing this is just a job to them, but I want them to at least care about what we're doing.
Well,
have some
course.
type of energy towards the end goal or our mission and vision. Like, you don't have to be like, oh my God, I'm so excited to come to work today. It would be nice probably for you and for us, because we could get so much more done with a positive attitude. But I also understand this is a check.
Yeah, it's a check. And like some days it's just not the vibe.
It's just not the vibe.
But you still got to show
But
up.
you still got to show up. So that was rule number 1. Rule number 2 is every single person lies during a job interview. So don't believe everything they say. Instead, listen to your gut. Which, this is the story we were like, we're going to circle back to this later, of the girl. She was like, oh my gosh, like, this is my plan. This is the path I want to go down. And Phoebe's like, oh my gosh, like, she's actually wanting to like stay long term and do the job
Ooh.
when really. It was another one of those things where social media making it seem like when you work for a celebrity or somebody you think is like higher up, that it's just going to be like vacations and flights and brunch and lunch and da-da-da-da, when it's actual work still.
Yeah, I think that gets twisted a lot.
And it's social media.
And sometimes, though, I feel like companies don't do an accurate job depicting the energy that they're
That's tea.
creating, because they'll say, oh, well, we have this in place for diversity and we're doing this to create stronger team bonds. And like, they're lying too.
No, that's tea.
I
Let's talk
mean,
about it.
Everybody's putting up a front. It's like a first date.
Yeah, or like when my dad gets to use to work in HR, he told me these are things that you're supposed to look in the job description. If you see it, run.
Oh.
Or like, if you see it, this is what they actually mean. It's like something, it's not this, but it's something along the lines of able to work in fast-paced environments. Meaning you're going to have unrealistic deadlines and they're going to beat you like a dead horse to get the stuff done. And like, you know?
Yeah.
So you're right. It's two-sided for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next rule number 3, have some damn fun, which is something I know we've talked about before, like when we go on break and we're like, oh my gosh, we've got to start the next season. We got to start working out. And I'm just like, No, we're on break. We're not doing anything.
Let's take an actual real break.
Let's take an actual real break, because if we're still working during the break, it's not a break.
Maybe a little work.
Like a little bit of work.
Just so you don't forget how.
Yeah.
I'll check my email.
Right. See if anything important gets
I'll
through.
flag something.
I'll star it.
Yeah.
Come back to it later.
It's just about balance.
Balance. Okay.
Rule
Next
number
rule.
4.
Go for it, sis.
Get yourself a motherfucking lawyer. Except
you can
I
afford
added
it.
the motherfucking, but she seems very passionate about that.
I've heard a lot of people with business people get a freaking lawyer if you
I
can.
can't wait till I'm at the point where I have a lawyer in my pocket.
Right?
That's a flex.
That's a flex. But right now we got LegalZoom.
My uncle's a lawyer.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I'll give it. We got the fam.
Houston. Okay.
But get a lawyer, because I feel we've started to get some contracts from partnerships, which we're so excited. Next episode, we're gonna finally start introducing our partners for the season. But we started getting real contracts, and I'm sending it to Bryce, my dad, and I'm like, can you please? We need another set of eyes on this, because it looks pretty standard. But I'm always afraid of the loophole.
The loophole.
I'm like, I just don't want us to get in some shit. Which I can see her point of having a lawyer in your back pocket can be really handy. So
yeah,
get a lawyer if you can. You want to do the next one?
Do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I already turned to it.
Perfect.
You didn't get into this to Dracarys a bitch.
Which I've been going back and forth with people but this is a Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was Dracarys.
No, I think it is Dracarys. I think I said it.
But I've
wrong.
heard people on the House of the Dragon, which if you haven't started it,
I haven't.
so good.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
After they did that shit at the end, I
It's
don't
still worth-
fuck with them.
It's still worth it because it's a whole new story, a whole new everything. But okay, I'm not going to get into that because it's going to take too much time. But I've heard people on House of the Dragon say Dracarys. I was like, what the fuck? I thought it was Dracarys. Anywho. But basically it's just saying don't be an evil dragon lady.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. It took me a minute because I was like, is that even how I was just like, it's been a while. I have to refresh my Game of Thrones knowledge because I was like, who's Dracarys?
She's like, who is it? And more of it's what is it?
What is it?
Yeah. Wait, are you still asking?
Yeah.
Oh, it's how it's Targaryen for to tell the dragons to shoot fire.
Oh.
They're like Dracarys. Or when Dany went nuts in the last few episodes, she Dracarys the whole King's Landing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm here with
You're here now? Okay. But yeah, it's
I
basically
should have
just
skipped it, but again, I was speed reading.
I'm weak. Okay, next rule. Rule number 6. Who shall surround yourself with people who will keep it real.
Yeah.
No yes men.
Not me wanting to speak about Drake again.
We're not talking about Drake today.
He did something dumb. And he should have had somebody in his little group that was not a yes man because they probably were all like, he, Drake, that's so funny. It wasn't funny. And
Okay.
if you know, you know.
Okay, it was relevant. It was relevant for this one, so we'll let it slide.
That's
We'll
why
let it
I
slide.
feel bad.
There you go. Okay, next rule. Ask for feedback.
Oh, I liked that one because I don't think that's common.
I don't think it is either, but it is common? The amount of times that I have asked y'all to email us at shewellread@gmail.com for feedback.
Oh.
And
We
comments.
do ask for feedback.
And suggestions.
Yeah, tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like.
Tell us all of it, please. And there's a quote on
We need a
95.
number or something. I feel like people aren't,
DM us on
DM
Instagram, on
us.
Twitter, on TikTok.
Yeah.
Get in our
We'll
comments.
respond.
We'll respond to all
I
of
look
it.
at everything.
Right. This quote on 95, it says, "Not all feedback is negative or ill-intentioned," which she talks about this situation where her employees are giving her feedback and she's like taking it too much to heart, and she knows she's taking it too much to heart. And it's kind of that, I feel that too. Like sometimes when people I know are giving me constructive criticism and like it's coming from a place of love, I like have to keep telling myself that, but it still feels like an attack, but it's not an attack. I know it's not an attack.
Yeah.
I have to fix my face and my attitude.
Sometimes it's too late for me because I'm like, you're attacking me.
Right. You want to play victim?
Yeah, but I'll usually come back. Not usually.
You'll
I'll
circle
always
back.
come back and be like, you were right.
You had a point. But yes, do that in business. You want to do the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
Stay on or under budget. It's
You know
funny.
why I yeah.
I was about to say what. Funny, I'm reading that because I can't seem to do that these days. But she talks about she's a Libra, which I am a Libra rising, so I totally understand you, Phoebe. I love nice things too, and I would like to order everything off CB2. I'm actually furnishing my apartment right now, and I want everything off the website, but it's $2,000 minimum for a couch.
Ooh.
And I guess that's really not that bad, but it's not for me right now.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay on budget.
We love a budget.
We do love a budget, and sometimes you have to like bring yourself back. And that's kind of where she's at. She's like, I want everything in my office to be like a Pinterest board, and I want the most fantastic snacks, organic juice in the office
All the
every
bougie shit.
day. And she's just like, oh, she's like, I have a partner, thank God, that, looks at me and is like, maybe we could go to Target instead of Restoration Hardware. You know what I mean?
That's me. I'm the partner.
Yeah, Lana keeps me grounded.
I'm like, let's make an Excel spreadsheet of this budget here.
Yeah.
What do
and
we
I think
need?
We have to do that, especially in business. And I like that she mentioned not just your like business needs to be under budget, but like or on or under budget, but like your personal life too. You can't be fucking up your personal life and going crazy. And it's gonna translate.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good.
Me too.
And I have been on Wayfair too, Phoebe.
I too have been on Wayfair. I forget something in my house comes from Wayfair. I can't remember what it is though. Rule number 9: understand what you're not good at, what you don't like doing, and have other people do that shit. Basically outsourcing.
Yeah, I'm taking this chapter to heart. I'm like, what can I outsource?
Yeah, no, really, because it'll make your life easier at the end of the day. So, outsourcing, do that.
Do it, girl.
Number 10, your employees don't have to like all your decisions, but they gotta respect them.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you might not see the vision or what I'm trying to do, but I'm asking you to do this for a reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard, especially when you're like, but I think this. Well, it's like, well, your opinion kind of doesn't matter at the end of the day because it's not your shit.
Damn. And that's hard to swallow, but I mean, it's the truth.
It's the truth. You
don't really have as much stake in it as the person that built it from the ground up.
Yeah. And it's a hard pill to swallow, like you said. So, and I'm gonna let you do the last one.
Okay.
It's the funniest one to me because I feel like we all know this.
Rule number 11. This could have been an email. I would love this one. She said, I do not need to see your face, and you do not need to see mine.
You don't.
That's me every time I'm in a Zoom or a Teams meeting, and I'm like, nope, no camera.
No.
You can't make me.
My team calls, no one has their camera. It's like very few people have their camera on. No one asked us to put our camera on.
But when we do outside, like vendor meetings,
we'll
have their camera on. But it's kind of funny because like our whole team will be like, not.
Like we're not doing
like
it.
We're all staring at them type thing.
Yeah.
But my face is crazy. I can't keep it together. If somebody says something silly, I'm like dying. I just don't think I could do it. Or I'm making the one time we did do like face on Teams meeting, like I had to keep canceling it and turning it off, pausing the camera because I couldn't keep a straight face. Like, because I'm like DMing my friends. in like work, like my little coworkers,
Mhm.
about something silly somebody said, and we're cracking up.
Yeah, like the side conversations that are going on.
Yes. I can't
Yeah.
keep up, so I just don't turn that shit on.
Yeah, there's been so many times where I'm like,
Are you serious?
are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
There's 3 bullet points.
this hour meeting you set up only lasted 10 minutes.
Oh my God. I'll give you 50 minutes of your time back.
Triggered!
Stop giving it back. Don't take it from the first place.
Literally. Okay, but those were her 11 rules. And I don't think we ever said the title of the rules, but it's like, what Warren Buffett should have told you. And then the number of the rule. But basically, to sum it up, on page 104, she says, the magic is not in doing it how Warren Buffett or Shonda Rhimes or even I have done, but in customizing the rules to fit your wants and needs.
I mean, she made it quick. She made it funny.
Mm-hmm.
She made it
Relatable.
digestible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I really like
that.
at the end where she says, okay, let me see where to start. She says, whatever the case may be, just do your work and create a legacy you'll be proud of. And if grit, determination, creativity, and the occasional fantasy about destroying your life in a spectacular fashion are what's needed to get the job done, you're my kind of CEO. Let's chat, but not on Zoom, please. If I get a Zoom invite from you, I will definitely fake my own kidnapping. And it's just like a fun, funny way to like
She's
wrap
so
it, the
cute
essay
and
up.
silly.
I know. Which Phoebe, you just told me to hit you up, so don't be surprised if you see an email or a DM from me or Sam or we trying to get on Tiny Reparations.
Yeah.
I would love work.
We're
Stop.
there.
We're
I'm
there.
working from your office. Remember? You hired me.
I'll see you on Monday.
You're like, who?
I don't know.
Just kidding. I know it's not in the budget yet. She's too busy. Her Libra ass. She's like, I'ma just get a new couch.
So
Should have spent it on security.
and
You have to
you.
cut me off. I'm just cutting at this point.
You're going a little wild there.
Hi, baby.
But their next essay is #QuarenBay, which I am sure this is where we're going to hear all about British Bake Off and how they met and their love story. You know we love a love story. Elaine took us through it with them.
I was like, Phoebe, don't try me like Elaine did because, baby.
It was like 4 chapters of straight, bitch, what? You did what?
And then you did what?
And then you did it again.
Anyway, we're going to get there.
We're going to get there. But this has been another episode of She Will Read. I'm Alana.
I'm Samra.
Bye.
Bye.